Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Exclusive. I'm Madhavdas G. The Middle East is living through its most dangerous moment in decades, and it's getting worse by the hour. What began as a joint US-Israeli offensive that killed Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, over the weekend has now ignited a full-blown war in West Asia. Iran has made a sensational claim. It has claimed that it has attacked the office of Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, while Israel hasn't officially reacted, but sources in the Israel media have said that Israel has intercepted missiles that Iran launched towards Israel Prime Minister's office. IDF has released a new video showing how its Air Force and Navy has been intercepting dozens of UAVs launched from Iran over southern and northern Israel. Meanwhile, a second war on a second front is also raging on, and this one has the potential to consume an entire nation. Israel has launched a full campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israel warplanes are hammering the southern suburbs of Beirut, which is Hezbollah's stronghold. As per initial reports, 31 people are dead in Lebanon. 150 people are injured, and Israel has issued urgent evacuation notice to residents of more than 50 villages across southern Lebanon, telling civilians to move at least 1,000 meters away. All right, there's some big news coming in at the moment. Hezbollah's intelligence chief was killed in an Israeli airstrike in Beirut overnight. The IDF has now announced this. The IDF is now confirming that in a precise strike in Beirut, the terrorist Hassan Makhled, who served as head of the intelligence headquarters of the terror organization Hezbollah, has been eliminated. Let me quickly take this across to my colleagues who are joining us for more on this. A very, very big development, because very clearly, one by one, not just top generals, but top commanders, officials, in fact, the intelligence chief of Hezbollah, who has now been killed, is the information coming in. And this is, of course, something that has taken place in Beirut. Let's go across to Mayank. Mayank, this is big news, because it is the intelligence chief of Hezbollah who's been killed in the Israeli airstrike in Beirut. This has been announced by the IDF. What more do we know?
It's actually a very big thing, because it will cripple the backbone of the entire operations. It's only on the basis of the intelligence which we get that operations become precise and deadly. So if the intelligence chief has been killed, it's going to hit not only the morale, but the operational capability of the entire organization there. And it was serving as a cogent or a support member of Iran operations and all. So it is definitely going to hit them, cripple them in so many ways. And it takes time to build up such kind of officers who take charge as the intelligence heads.
Right. Stay with us, Mayank, because there's more breaking news coming in at the moment. In fact, this is the info that we are looking at. All right, after Hussein Makhled's killing, in fact, the update coming in at the moment is that 4 US service members have been killed in action. The 4th service member, who was seriously wounded during Iran's initial attacks, has succumbed to the injuries. Major combat operations continue, and of course the US saying that their response effort is ongoing. Identities of fallen are being withheld until 24 hours after next of kin notification. This is a big update coming in because, Mayank, we had seen the Central Command which had said that there were 3 casualties yesterday, and now it appears the number of casualties on the US side has gone up by 1.
I think President, the day he made the address to the nation on the first day itself, he has made it clear that the war is going to be, it's going to be elongated war. And in that, he was ready to take on certain, such kind of servicemen who will be getting killed in action. So he had talked about the body bags which will be returning back to the country. Thus he was already prepared, and if he is prepared, that means this war, in a way, he was also hinting that he will take it to a logical conclusion.
That's Mayank. Thanks so much for joining us with that quick update. Joining us now is Palestine's ambassador to India. We have Abdullah Shawesh, who's joining us. Ambassador Shawesh, let me begin with what is happening as far as America and Israel's offensive on Iran is concerned. What do you make of this? Because this was happening in the middle of talks. We were told that there were negotiations underway, and then we are seeing these strikes happen, and now Ayatollah Khamenei is no more.
Thank you so much indeed, dear Mr. Madhav, for having me, and of course to the Time Now channel at large, when we talk about what is going right now on the region in the Middle East, we should take it from the root of the issue, which is, again, according to us as a Palestinian people, it was and it will continue to be the Israeli occupation for sure. What is happening right now in Iran, the military attack that had been started 2 days ago by the American arm and the Israeli is part of the cycle that we should we should take it at large, so that we in Palestine, of course, believe that this is something not isolated from the root of its cause, which is the Israeli occupation.
Right. But what the U.S. has been saying is that there is, of course, at the core of it, Iran's nuclear ambitions. And there's news coming in that, in fact, some of the nuclear facilities were amongst the targets as far as U.S. and Israel's strikes are concerned. What would you say about that?
No, it's, when anyone wants to launch a war, especially Israel at least, and to start finding an excuse to this war, for example, Israel war in Gaza, the genocidal war which was started in October 7th and continue up to today. The main excuse that they took it is the October 7th, but this is not the real issue. There is a lot of issue behind this war, and there is a lot, at least for a Palestinian issue and Palestinian-Israeli cause, and there is a lot of goals that Israel tried to accomplish it from this war.
Right.
So to find the justification, it's easy to find the justification, but I'm pretty sure that, at least in our case in Palestine, the justification is not acceptable. The Israeli justification to the Gaza genocidal war is not acceptable, and it's not true also.
Okay, but the fact is that Khamenei was one of the most important supporters of Hamas, supplying it with rockets and ammunition. Do you believe that disarray within the Iranian leadership following his death would now cripple Hamas, Hezbollah, the Houthis and other militant and terrorist groups in Gaza and in the Middle East at large?
I'm not pretty sure why you declared or announced that Hamas is a terrorist group. Did Hamas attack any Indian person here? Did Hamas conduct any terror attack against the Indian people? This is the most important moral question that everyone should ask it. If X or Y can be classified as a terrorist, this means that it is already conducted terrorist attack against the one who's classifying at least them as a terror group. So that I did not agree with you at least when you classify Hamas as a terrorist group, and even India at large, the government of India is not classifying Hamas as a terrorist group. Yes, we have big differences, and when in Palestine also, we are totally and utterly not agreeing with what did Hamas conducted. But again, this did not mean that we can agree or we can accept that anyone to classify it or to align himself with Israel to classify it as a terrorist group.
Well, India is a victim of terror, and the kind of terror where we see innocents being killed, we are only talking from that perspective. But my question still remains. Will Khamenei's departure be a loss for other groups such as Hamas, Hezbollah?
No, I want to say something. I agree that I can totally agree with you. India is a victim of terror group, and we, the Palestinian, is the ultimate victim of the terror groups and the terror state itself. And I would like to remind you also, and to remind, of course, all of your viewers right now, that even Israel itself was established after tens of terror attack according to the international law and to the British mandate at that time. Israel, two of its Prime Minister, Menachem Begin, who was assumed the office in 1977, and another one, I'm going to bring his name, Ishaq Shamir, who was assumed the office as a Prime Minister of Israel in 1994. Both of them had been classified and wanted as a terrorist, wanted terrorist by the British mandate before 1944. Up to today, the Palestinian endure in a daily pace tens of terror attacks by the Israeli Jewish settler in West Bank. If the genocidal war in Gaza will not be classified as a terror, what could, so we as international community, we together should come again together to define the exact meaning of terror, so that we are not justifying the terror. We are fully acknowledge that India had endured or endured some terror attack, but this did not mean that is only India. We, the Palestinians, suffering from the Jewish terror before 1948 and the Israeli terror after 1948. And up to today, we are suffering from the daily terror attack in West Bank.
Right, but my question still remains. My question was, what is the impact of this going to be on Hamas, Hezbollah, with Khamenei no more?
No, listen, when you want to discuss this issue from the micro level or the macro level, I'm not a political commentator to comment to answer you from the micro level. I am the ambassador of Palestine to India, so that I should tackle it from the macro level. What is the implication of this war and this aggression on the total area, on the area at large, and in the peace and security at large? This is the most important question. But just to discuss it, the implication of this war, devastating war, in a minor group that have no effect in the area, I think it's not fair. But I think also, and I agree with you that, if you agree with me, of course, that this war will negatively affect the entire Middle East at large.
Yeah, that's exactly the point, because whether these groups, you choose to call them militants, others call them terrorists, their actions, of course, are there for all to see. The only simple point
Excuse me, I did not call them a militant group. I did not call them.
What are they?
But I refuse to depict Hamas as a terrorist group, of course.
What kind of group are they according to you?
But I'm not defending the other, of course.
What kind of group are they according to you?
This is yours. You can call it what you wanted.
So that's what I'm saying. So you may call it.
It's yours. You can. I'm not a political commentator. You can call them.
Yeah, the fact that they pick up guns is what is widely, referred to as a militant group. But the simple question that many will ask is that, do you condemn their actions such as October 7th attack?
It's not only to condemn October 7th. October 7th did not happen in a vacuum. Our official position as a Palestinian Liberation Organization and Palestinian authorities fully, and everyone is aware of it, even the Israeli. But if there is a way to start condemning, yes, I have a very lengthy list to condemn it. And first and foremost, of course, the United Kingdom for issuing the despicable bill for declaration in 1917, which you can say that it sowed the seed to all the misery that we are facing in the Middle East. In this declaration, despicable, ominous declaration in 1917, the United Kingdom pledged and gifted our homeland to the Khazarian Jews. So if there is a way to condemn, and then if there is a list to be, an issue to be condemned, we should start by the root of the problem, not to tackle only the October 7th from its or to isolate it from its historical background. But of course, 100%, there is tens of acts, of hundreds of acts that had been conducted before 1948 by the Jewish gang, Jewish terrorist gang, United Kingdom Mandatory Power, and others to be condemned till we reach
I'm not going to go back into history.
October 7th.
Again, but I will ask
the same exact question that we are facing.
Let me ask
you. Do you condemn October 7th? What about after October 7th? This is very important. We are condemning every single. Let me just be back to the principle. Every single citizen, civilian soil is matter for us in Palestinian. And every single one attack any single civilian and single civilian person, children, women, elderly person or young person should be utterly, completely, without no hesitation to be condemned. So that we are condemning the Israeli occupation. We are condemning the United Kingdom for issuing the bill for declaration, which sowed the seed of all of this misery that we are facing. The principle, we should agree on the principle together. If you agree on the principle, so that
I will unequivocally say any citizen killed is totally wrong. No, I agree with you. Any innocent citizen killed is totally wrong. There's no two ways about it. But wrong. Similarly,
we cannot say wrong. We
of course it's wrong.
No,
if it's citizens are killed,
we should not say wrong. Should be utterly, completely condemnable.
Absolutely condemnable. I completely agree with you. But then the same line,
I'm talking about the principle. You want
at the same line.
You want to talk me to one event, one day in the history.
Multiple events. Let's come back to Iran. Let's come back to Iran
and the consequence.
Let's come back to Iran. All the women in Iran who are protesting, for instance, on the streets. We saw thousands of protesters who are on the streets and who are complaining about what the then Supreme Leader, Mr. Khamenei, was doing and his policies, which they were against. Would you now stand by them who say that, who've come out to condemn the regime that existed at that point of time in Iran?
No, the issue is, do you think that we, the Palestinian, whom is enduring all of this suffering, have that a luxury time to talk about the others? If you want to talk about this issue, I trust that there is the embassy of Iran, you need to discuss this issue with them. But again, I stand with each one who's suffering under any brutal regime. I stand with the humanity itself. I stand with each one worldwide who's seeking his freedom. I stand with my people, of course, because we are seeking our liberty. We are seeking the freedom. I stand with my people for their legitimate right to be recognized as to have their basic right, which is the self-determination. So that this is very important. But to isolate the issue, no.
Let's come back to Israel-Gaza. Okay, let's come back to Israel-Gaza. Now we are looking at a situation where Hezbollah has joined in. It's firing missiles towards Israel. Are we going to witness another major escalation with Lebanon? Because both sides, we've seen an Israeli official now coming out and say that they're going to have an operation in Lebanon that will be broad and comprehensive, and it may include an invasion.
I did not know how did you connect it when you start by saying let us back to Israel, Gaza, then connected it to Lebanon. It's totally two separated place. When you talk about Israel, Gaza, I can assure you that no, Israel and Lebanon and Gaza is not neighboring. Lebanon is the north of Israel and or north of the historical land of Palestine, which became Israel, and Gaza is the very latest point in the south of the historical land of Palestine, so that they are not neighbors.
You're not worried about a wider conflict in the Middle East?
I'm the one. We are, as a human being, all of us should stand together to be worried about any conflict anywhere in the world, because these type of conflicts will cost us as a humanity many of our loved ones. Any brutal attack, any war will erupted in anywhere in any place around the world should worry us as a human being. Yes, I am very worried about what happened in the Middle East. I'm very worried what happened in Gaza right now. I'm very worried and very scared of what happened in West Bank. I mean, the daily terror attack that we are enduring it at the hands of the Israeli occupation army and the Israeli Jewish settler. And also, I'm very worried what happened in Lebanon. I'm very worried about what happened even in the Gulf states and in the Gulf area and everywhere and around the world. We, as a human being, should be extra worried, because we, as a Palestinian at least, we know the exact meaning of suffering. We know the exact meaning of being a victim of the Israeli occupation, being a victim and being from our loved ones.
All right, Mr. Abdullah Shawesh, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us here at Times Now.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.